On earth is Eriksen, a player of his quality, going, with all due respect, going to Inter?
The highest profile being Takumi Minamono at Liverpool.
Easy for you to say.
I was going to say. highest. Hi everybody, a warm welcome back to the Haters TV podcast in the company of broadcaster and writer at Haters TV, Jerry Cox, alongside a veteran of Fleet Street and Patrick Barkley. Great to see the both of you.
You too.
And let's talk about the January transfer window, shall we? Because there's been very little action, really. The highest profile being Takumi Minamono at Liverpool.
Easy for you to say.
I was going to say, highest profile, but probably one of the lowest fees we're likely to see in January, at just a touch over £7 million. Manchester United, without Marcus Rashford, you'd think the onus now is on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to try and find a new frontman.
Well, he said that yesterday in the after the game at Anfield. He said, you know, Rashford's now going to be out 2 to 3 months probably with this stress fracture, double stress fracture. And of course, it looks a bit foolish the way they played him at the end of that Wolves FA Cup game and compounded the problem. So they're looking for a short-term fix. Tottenham are looking for a short-term fix because Harry Kane probably is out for the season. So you've got two big clubs who desperately need a centre-forward. We know January is not a good time to sign players. You certainly don't get good value, and you're not going to get good value, any selling clubs are going to think, well, Tottenham and Manchester United, they've got money, they pay big bucks, the price goes up. Yep. So it's not a good time to buy. And you'd have to say, who is there out there? There aren't a lot of, goal-scoring centre forwards who are going to come in, hit the ground running in the Premier League. We saw it this time last year when Chelsea went out, didn't they? And they bought Higuain, and 5 goals in 13 games? He wasn't exactly a success. Yeah. And you would have thought one of the world's top strikers. So it's a big problem for both clubs.
Strange, isn't it? Because we've seen Olivier Giroud leave the Premier League, and he's almost kind of an ideal fit for both for what they're looking at. I think Cavani's the only other one that I'm seeing who's been linked with one or
Cavani's 32, and I think the problem with the Premier League is we don't want to go back to the days, and there's no need, no financial need, to go back to the days where it was a sort of MLS in Europe, where a wonderful place for people to make a bit of money before they retire. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm getting at. It used to be like that. But no, I don't think there's any need. Good player though Cavani is, good though short-term buys can be Zlatan at Man United and so on. I mean, you shouldn't sort of rule things out just because people can deliver easy lines about MLS. But no, I think Manchester United, given in the case of Manchester United, given Mason Greenwood, who is going to be a really great player, as everybody knows, given that he's there, do you want to crowd his space so early? Basically, with the other problem with Manchester United, before we get on to Tottenham, the other problem with Manchester United is there's no point in buying, no point in Ed Woodward buying. I mean, you look at the squad, that's what happens when Ed Woodward makes the buys. So the next manager needs to make the decisions, and we don't know whether the next manager is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Maurizio Pochettino, or another. I mean, personally, I think Woodward's got a difficult problem because there's nothing wrong with Solskjaer, in my opinion. But do you let a proven, really top manager like Pochettino go somewhere else?
Yeah. Talking of United, if striker is on the top of their wish list, what about a creative midfielder? The fact that Paul Pogba's out, McTominay's out, they're looking very weak in that middle third.
Yeah. I think midfield's the area they need to strengthen.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But and the thing is now, I'm hearing these reports that obviously Bruno Fernandes is coming from Sporting Lisbon, but United won't budge on £20 million when the Portuguese giants want something close to 40. How can a team like United stick at something that's 50% of his value?
I don't know. It's a strange one.
Especially when there's the winter bonus, as you've just referred to.
I mean, I think Tottenham made the same mistake in the summer. They probably could have got him for less than they're asking now, but they didn't. They didn't go. They held back, and that's very Daniel Levy. But United normally pay the money. They don't. So I don't know what's going on there. He clearly is a player that would enhance them enormously, and Pogba out for some time to come. but also, huge question marks about Pogba's long-term future. So I think if Fernandes comes,
get rid.
That then
Would
is
you?
Get rid of
so.
Pogba, definitely.
But I think you need Fernandes in first.
In the same way Spurs should have got rid of Eriksen earlier, and Man United should have bought him.
Well,
why on earth is Eriksen, a player of his quality, going, with all due respect, going to Inter? Why? He's much better than that.
His preferred destination would be Barcelona or Real Madrid.
Well,
That's what he's holding out for.
Yeah,
he wants to play in Southern Europe. He wants the sunshine and a different pace of. I think the pace of football as well. I don't think he wants to.
He's had enough of the Premier League.
So he wouldn't go to Man United.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Would he go to Liverpool?
I don't think so. No,
wow.
I don't think so, because I think it's about the lifestyle and the style of football. He's always found a little struggle. He doesn't like the intensity. It's always one question mark about Eriksen is the big games. In Europe he can, but the big games in England he can disappear a bit because of the intensity of it.
I have to say,
too much.
It does feel like such a shame the way that arguably one of Spurs' best players during the Premier League era, the way his time has come to an end.
Just because of one bad year.
Apathy from supporters. And it's just, it's,
well, he's been a fabulous player.
It looks like he needs a new challenge.
If you look at the stats, since he arrived, and he was the one of that 7 players that they bought with the Bale money, he's been one of the most creative players. I think him and David Silva, probably the two of them. Maybe Hazard, if you call Hazard a midfielder, but in terms of goals and assists, Eriksen's been consistently in the top 1, 2, 3. So, the Premier League's losing one of its best midfielders.
Yes, I agree with you.
I just want to move to the defending champions, Manchester City. And transfer windows and City go hand in hand, because you obviously think that they're readily able to spend and whatever they need. But right now, as much as they are out of the title race, and Pep has pretty much admitted so with the 16-point gap, all eyes now, of course, is on the Champions League. On the one competition, they are desperate to win. They need a centre-half, don't they?
Well,
they're still waiting for Laporte to come back.
We were told there's a miracle happening with Laporte, but he's not back, is he?
I think he's close, but
there's a lot of talk of February. If he's back in time for the knockout stages of the Champions League, maybe that's asking too much.
Yes.
But
can they pin their hopes on somebody who's been out for 3-4 months?
No.
It would improve them, and it's also a bit like if you took Van Dijk out of the Liverpool side, they really are a different proposition. But I think there are problems at City that are deeper than just Laporte. I think they just haven't looked as flowing as they have been. Maybe that's because there's a lack of confidence in the back line.
And a feeling that they have to score.
They're nothing like they were last year, are they? They haven't been. The points they're dropping are really quite strange, aren't they?
I saw an interesting line, actually, in the papers the last 24 hours. Raheem Sterling hasn't looked the same since the Joe Gomez incident. Would you both agree with that?
Well, it's now that you mention it, I hadn't thought of that. But yes, these little psychological things can knock a player off kilter. So it may be true. It's certainly been true that he's not been up to the ridiculous standard that we've come to expect of him.
And also, I think Sterling is a beneficiary of City's dominant team play. He was coming in on the end. They're attacking from all sides, with Sane as well on one wing, him on the other, for example. And there would always
see if he comes back,
and it would create openings for Sterling. Now, obviously, Sane's been out all season, but there has to be a difference to Raheem's ability to score goals when City aren't attacking from all sides, and because their general team play is just maybe 1% below what it was last year. It just makes it hard for everyone, and that's why. What we were seeing with Sterling last year was the goal return, and that's probably dropped off because of the general team play not being where it was.
And one team closer to home, as far as I'm concerned, with Leicester, trying their best now to overcome what has become a really stodgy period for the Foxes, losing 4 of their last 6, and maybe a few question marks over their top 4 finishing hopes. Do they need a striker to fill in behind Jamie Vardy right now, who's gone off the boil somewhat with just 1 goal in the last 7 in all?
Well, I really hope not, because I'm a Fulham fan, and if I was a manager,
Mitrovic.
If I was a Premier League manager, I wouldn't even look past Mitrovic. He's a proven player. He's a super footballer. He looks like a big man up front, but he's got lovely feet. He's the only possible criticism that you could make of him this season is that he's He got a long-term contract, thank God, at Fulham, and maybe in a little bit of a comfort zone. But he's still leading goal scorer in the Championship. I can't understand why anybody looking for a centre forward goes across the channel. You've got one
closer to home. Yeah. Chelsea are still looking for an alternative, especially if Giroud goes, an alternative to Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
And then,
well, listen, I just hope nobody comes for him. But
he wouldn't even have to move, would he? If he
well, I mean, and the whole it's true, West London, and the whole fans are also saying Jared Bowen.
Yeah. I mean, Spurs looked at him very closely. Didn't make an offer in the end last year.
Do you wish they did?
I don't know, because I don't know enough about him. But they must have doubts, because you'd have thought
somebody would.
They went for Jack Clarke in the end, who's a much less proven, much younger, less proven.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if there are question marks about Bowen. You know, there's the classic Championship scorer who doesn't step up. You know, Dwight Gale, for example, someone like that.
Yes,
you wonder if they can score goals for fun in the Championship. Can they step up? Maybe that question.
Callum Wilson. I don't know if he'd be available, but
he's gone off the boil at Bournemouth.
Yeah. I mean, he had a long-term injury, and sometimes you can take a few months to work that through the system. Okay. If the pace is still there, you know, everything else will be.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. James, thanks very much indeed. So
pleasure.
That's I suppose the headlines from what's needed for the bigger clubs in the Premier League for this January transfer window. Talking of which, I think we're all due to do a bit of shopping over at Westford. From all of us, bye for now.